They laughed the moment she touched the rifle. Not a cruel laugh, at first. More like the loose, careless laughter of men who had spent too many years around legends and too little time imagining one could be standing quietly beside them. The sun baked the training range, heat shimmering off steel targets in the distance, and the SEALs stood relaxed, confident, joking the way only people who've survived hell together can. Then the woman stepped forward and asked, calmly, if she could borrow a rifle. Someone snorted. Another shook his head, smiling. A third muttered, this'll be good. She didn't react. She didn't smile or bristle or try to explain herself. She simply waited, hands clasped in front of her, eyes steady. Her name was Lena Cross, though almost no one there knew it. To them, she was a civilian contractor attached to base logistics, quiet, observant, forgettable. The kind of person you nod at in the hallway and immediately forget. The rifle she asked for belonged to Chief Aaron Maddox, a seasoned SEAL with scars on his knuckles and a reputation for never missing when it mattered. He raised an eyebrow, amused. You sure? He asked. This isn't a range toy. I know, Lena replied. Something in her tone, flat, respectful, unchallenging, made him pause. Maddox handed it over. The laughter softened but didn't stop. Lena cradled the rifle like it remembered her. She adjusted the sling with practiced movements, checked the chamber, and inhaled slowly. Around her, conversation faded as the casual confidence in her posture began to feel unfamiliar. She didn't move like someone pretending. She moved like someone returning. The range officer called out the first distance. 500 meters. Stationary targets. Lena took position. No dramatics. No speeches. Just breath, alignment, stillness. The first shot cracked the air. A clean hit. Then another. And another. By the 10th shot, no one was laughing anymore. Chief Maddox stepped closer, arms crossed, eyes narrowing, not with suspicion, but with focus. He'd seen this before, not often, the kind of shooting that wasn't about skill alone, but trust in muscle memory forged under pressure most people never feel. Targets reset, the distance increased, wind picked up, dust curling across the range. Someone muttered that this would be where it ended. It didn't. Lena hit every target, 20, 30, 40, at 50 shots straight. A murmur rippled through the SEALs. Jokes died mid-sentence. Helmets came off. Men who had survived ambushes and firefights leaned forward like rookies watching their first legend being born. But Lena's face never changed. Between volleys, memories flickered behind her eyes, memories she had buried deep. A mountain ridge at dawn. A radio crackling with panic. A voice screaming coordinates. A shot taken too late. Another taken too soon. A team lost because hesitation had stolen seconds no one could afford. She hadn't touched a rifle in 3 years. Targets reset again, now moving, irregular patterns, the kind designed to break rhythm and confidence. Lena adjusted her stance. Shot, hit, wind shifted, target accelerated. She compensated instinctively, without conscious thought. Hit. By 70 shots, Chief Maddox felt something twist in his chest. He remembered the first time he'd realized he belonged among the best, not because he was fearless, but because fear didn't own him. The woman on the range wore that same stillness. At 80 shots, the range officer forgot to announce the count. At 90, someone whispered, "Who is she?" At 99, the air itself seemed to hold its breath. Lena squeezed the trigger one last time. Hit. 100 targets. 100 hits. No misses. Silence fell heavier than applause ever could. Lena lowered the rifle slowly, as if setting down something sacred. She handed it back to Chief Maddox, who took it without a word, his earlier amusement replaced by something close to reverence. "Thank you," she said. "Who trained you?" someone finally asked. Lena hesitated. The question opened a door she'd spent years barricading. Faces rose in her mind, men and women who had trusted her aim with their lives. Some of them never came home. She swallowed. "They did," she said softly. The SEAL commander, a grizzled officer who had watched from the shade, stepped forward. He studied her like a puzzle snapping into place. "You're not logistics," he said. "No," Lena replied. "I was Overwatch." The word carried weight, the kind that bends spines. The commander's voice lowered. "Why are you here?" Lena met his gaze. "Because the last time I pulled a trigger, people died anyway. I thought if I walked away, the noise would stop." It hadn't. Nightmares didn't care about distance or paperwork. They followed her into quiet rooms and sleepless hours, replaying moments she couldn't fix. She'd taken the logistics job to disappear, to become invisible enough that the world wouldn't ask her for precision ever again. But precision was who she was. The commander nodded slowly. We're running an evaluation tomorrow. No spectators. Be here if you want. Lena didn't answer immediately. She looked back at the range, the targets riddled with holes so tight they looked like one. Proof of what she still was. Proof of what she'd been trying not to be. I'll be here, she said. The evaluation was brutal. Physical endurance, mental stress, simulated chaos. They pushed her not to test her strength, but her resolve. When her arms shook, she kept going. When her lungs burned, she adjusted her pace. When they recreated the kind of impossible decision that had broken her years ago, she paused, just long enough to choose clarity over fear. She passed. Weeks later, Lena stood on a different ridge, overlooking terrain that felt hauntingly familiar. The team trusted her voice now. When she called wind, they listened. When she said wait, they waited. When she said shoot, they didn't question. And when the moment came, when lives hung on a single thread of timing and trust, Lena breathed, aligned, and did what she had always done. The mission succeeded. Everyone came home. Back on base, Chief Maddox found her cleaning the borrowed rifle. You know, he said, we laughed because we thought we knew what greatness looked like. Lena glanced up. Most people do. He smiled. Guess we forgot to look closely. Lena reassembled the rifle and handed it back. It's easy to underestimate quiet people, she said. We spend so much time proving ourselves to the world that we forget some battles are fought in silence. That night, Lena slept without nightmares. Not because the past had changed, but because she had finally stopped running from who she was. And the story spread, not as a boast, or a viral clip, or a headline, but as a quiet reminder passed between professionals who understood the weight of respect earned, not demanded. They laughed when she borrowed a SEAL's rifle. They never laughed again, because they learned something that day, something bigger than skill or strength or reputation. Never measure someone by how loudly they arrive. Sometimes the most powerful force in the room is the one that doesn't need to announce itself, only to act, when it matters most.